Okay, class, we're continuing with the polynomial division. So let's go ahead and try, sure, let's try number three. Um, so I'm gonna go ahead and give myself a little bit more space here to write, or I'm gonna delete it, that's fine too, or not. Okay, so with synthetic division, what you have to go ahead and see is that this part right here has to be a linear factor, a linear function. So we can see this is a degree of 1, so this works. I can go ahead and proceed. Now, division by synthetic division works in the term x minus k, meaning I need to find this k value and I need to put it outside my synthetic division box. So in most parts, you're going to have to go ahead and do a little bit of work here. So this is telling me it's x minus 5 equals 0. So x is equal to 5. So I'm going to go ahead and write my 5 on the outside. Inside, I'm going to go ahead and take only the coefficients, meaning the numbers in front of the x's. If this number is subtracted, it stays negative. If this number is being added, it is positive. So the first one, I got x to the third. I got a 3. I keep the 3. The next term is this right here is a 17, but it's subtraction, so minus 17. The next term is 15, positive. And the last term is minus 25, so it is negative 25. Sorry. Here you go. Now, what is important to know, but this example doesn't do it, if one of the x terms is missing, you have to replace it with a 0. But that's not the case here. Here I got x cubed, x to the second, x to the first, and then x to the 0, which is just 1, which is just a constant. So let's bring everything down. This 3 brings down. This gives me a 3, so there should be a 3 right here. Then I go ahead and multiply these two together. So 5 times 3 gives me this 15. Then I go ahead and add these together. So negative 17 plus 15, a little bit of quick maths gives me that is a negative 2. This is a negative 2. Then I repeat the process. 5 times negative 2, that gives me negative 10. Then I go ahead and add one more time. 15 minus 10, that gives me a positive 5. And I multiply 5 times 5, that gives me 25. Then I go ahead and add these together, and I get negative 25 plus 25 is 0. So when the remainder is equal to 0, we have a factor. That means that x equals 5 is a factor, meaning I can rewrite this as x equals minus 5, which is what we saw over here. This is very important when we go ahead and write everything in factored form. Now, this works really good because we were able to break this down. And this was originally, the equation was this one, 3x cubed, and so on. So when you divide it, this has to be a degree less. So this is rewritten as x cubed. Now it is x squared. And you just add the coefficients. 3x squared minus 2x plus 5. Okay. And we can go ahead and do a little bit of more synthetic division, but we'd have to go ahead and find the possible zeros, which leads on to today's lesson of Thursday. So from here, what I'm going to go ahead and do is a little bit of the tabular method, meaning I go ahead and fill in this box right here, and this term right here goes right here, 3x squared, and this term goes right here. I go ahead and multiply these two together. Excuse me, let me give myself a little bit more space. I multiply 3x squared times 5, that gives me 15x squared. Now I'm looking for two numbers right here and right here that go ahead and multiply to 15x squared and add up to this negative 2x. So what numbers can you guys come up with? Well, let me think about this. So two numbers that multiply times 15, to me that is a 5, that is a 5 and a 3. Okay, now I need them to be x squared because they need to multiply to x squared, so they both need to have x's. Now, these numbers multiply to 15, but they don't add up to negative 2. So one of these has to be negative, so the bigger one has to be negative. Next, you find out what they have in common horizontally. So they both have in common an x. They both have in common nothing, so it must be a 1. And here they both have in common a 3x, and this one a 5. So we can rewrite this as x plus 1 and 3x plus 5. So this should be our entire answer. This got factored into x plus 1 and, whoops, 3x plus 5. Don't forget the other term that we did with synthetic division that goes here as well. This is your factored form. Okay? Thank you. Laters.